but we are recording now.
Oh, I thought it was on earlier. It was on when I came in earlier. I think it just stopped.
Yeah, probably.
Probably what I was sharing my screen. Sorry.
No, I doubt it was you. Okay, so Michaela asked where we're covering stuff from last week. That was what we were just doing was the end of quiz chapter 3, the last question. Same thing for Vanessa. Same thing, Mackenzie. I think I might have covered that. I'm reading through these chats here real quick. You have to actually go in and request. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Mia, good to see you.
So that was number
It
14
rhymes.
on the quiz 3, right?
Yes.
Okay. I don't have none of those answers you just gave. Are they different for everybody, or are they the same?
They may be different for everyone.
Okay.
I know a lot of times they change the numbers to protect the innocent.
But I worked mine out the same way. You did just
Mhm.
on the screen. So
Yep, they'll just change the numbers.
okay.
Now Vanessa, who was it? Vanessa, did you have questions on a different one?
Nope.
Okay. So are we ready to kind of jump into Okay, so since we're always limited in time here, I tried to cover what I think is going to be most important to everybody. And then if there was something the next week that you didn't, you had difficulty with, you can either ask me, sometime during the week. A lot of people sent in on Cengage, which is the best way to do it when it says ask the instructor. If you click that, that shows me which problem, what your answer was, and then I can reply to it right there, and it just sends it directly to you. We don't have to do you don't have to do any screenshots or any craziness. So, oh, and I took my work shirt off, so I'm in a t-shirt too. It was a long Easter weekend. So what I'm going to cover now is some of the basics of the algebra you're going to need in this thing. And I saw you squinch, Donna. It's fine. I said algebra, and she looked like I stepped on her toes.
Yes, what makes my brain freeze?
It's not that bad. And I'm not sure. Make room. Like I said, order, right? And I'm going to use that. So if you remember, we stopped using X as a multiplication sign at some point, just because when you get an algebra, X is really popular for algebraic equations, X and Y's, okay? And it'll start off when, if you're doing any graphing with X, Y axis. So that's why I use a dot, or I use the parentheses to show us multiplication. I'm not going to use X anymore. And if I do, it'd be very rarely. So, okay. Awesome, Vanessa. Pull this chat here. All right. So some of the basics of an algebraic equation is, I'm going to give you something like nothing if I don't hit the right button. X plus 2 is equal to 4, right? Very basic. we know X is going to be equal to 2, right? We can just look at it. We know 2 plus 2 is equal to 4. All right. The reason I use something so easy is so we can just look at the basic math behind it. Right. Your basic job when you see an X or a Y or a Z or a P or a Q or whatever, and that's what we're going to call a variable, right? And a variable is simply a number. Let me burst that a little bit. It's simply a letter that represents your number. Okay. So even though it's a letter, it's used to represent a number, and it follows the exact same rules numbers do. All right. So just consider it a number. And it's basically, the other thing I would say, it's an unknown number. That's why we use a letter, right? We don't know what it is. Okay. Now your basic job is, here's my equal sign here. I want to get everything away from that X. I want that X by itself on one side of the equal sign. All right. So I can have something that looks like X is equal to something. All right. Now, the way to do that is on a really easy one like this. You rewrite it here so it doesn't look like my 10-year-old grandson did it in a moving car. Is X plus 2 is equal to 4. I want to get this 2 away from this X. I want it gone. All right. And to make that happen is I have to do the exact opposite of what they're doing. So if they're adding 2 on here, I simply have to subtract 2. Right. And that makes this go away. Now, the problem is it just can't go away. You have to keep these equations in balance. And I always use the analogy of a seesaw. Okay. If you're on a seesaw here and you got one kid here and one kid here, about a balanced seesaw. One kid here, there's your fulcrum. It's going to be in balance, right? So if I add another kid to here, in order to keep it in balance, I have to do the same thing, add another kid to here. Well, the equal sign is just like the fulcrum or the middle of this right here. So if I subtract 2 from one side of the equation, one side of the equal sign, I have to subtract 2, do the exact same thing from the other side. So that leaves me with X by itself on that side is equal to 4 minus 2 is 2. Makes sense, doesn't it? Now we have a known value, and we can go back and plug it in and check it. So as now X is no longer unknown. It has a value of 2. 2 plus 2 equals 4. We have a true statement. Okay. And I'm sure you guys have seen this before in high school. It's just, kind of a refresher. And that goes the same way with, if I went X minus 2 is equal to 4. Well, we know off the top of our head is 6. X is equal to 6. So 6 minus 2 is equal to 4. But just to follow our method here, if they're subtracting 2, I've got to add 2. Which means I got to add it to the other side. 4 plus 2 is 6. That goes away. It just makes sense. Okay. The same thing. Here's this. I don't know if you've seen this in a while. 2x is the same thing as saying 2 times x. All right. So 2x is equal to 4. So 2 times some number is equal to 4. Well, we know 2 times 2 is equal to 4, but we want to be able to prove it. If they're multiplying, the opposite of multiplication is division. Okay. So I have to divide 2x by 2 and divide 4 by 2. Because just like we talked about in the fractions, when we said you do this, whatever you do to the bottom of the fraction, you got to do the same thing to the top or vice versa. These equations have the same thing. Whatever you do to one side of the equal sign, you have to do the exact same thing to the other. Don't change your signs. Don't plus on one side, minus on the other. You have to do the exact same thing. Because when I divide 2 by 2, 2 divided by 2 is equal to 1, which leaves me just 1x. 4 divided by 2 is 2. What do you think, Hannah? All right. You too, Donna? All the faces I can see. I'm just got the faces I can see tonight. And if anybody wants me to slow down or stop, yell at me or hit me up in the chat or whatever we need to do. The same thing, and I'm just going to go along with what we've been doing so far. X divided by 2 is equal to 4. Well, we know 8 divided by 2 is equal to 4, so we know x is equal to 8. I just want to prove it mathematically. If they're dividing, I have to do the opposite, which is multiply. Okay, if I do that, that just leaves me with x on that side. Oh, I'm sorry, I have to multiply, and x is equal to 8. Does that make sense to everybody? Nobody, I haven't confused anybody significantly yet. And the reason, and I should have explained this at this, I had the entire thing in my head until we actually got on screen, and I just changed it all. And the reason is I look when I've taught this before, I look through here and we do chapter 4, 5, and 6. All right. 5 is using equations to solve problems. Okay. And they give us some just like I just showed you. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. Come on. Oh my gosh. Try this again. 5 using equations. And I'll pull up Maya's here. I'm not going to show yours to everybody, Maya, but I'm just going to pull yours up here so we can go through some of the similar problems. Number 1 and 2 on the chapter 5. Homework. 1, 2. Okay. Let's go with 1 here that they give you that kind of encompasses all this. On erase. Okay. So they give you R plus 37 is equal to 68. Okay. So what they've done at this point is they have combined problems for you. You have 2 different things you got to do. What I always tell people is we want to get this R. Remember, we want to get R by itself on one side. The 37 and the 5 are what's keeping it from being by itself. Okay. When we start removing stuff out of the way, we start removing things. The things that are farthest away from our variable R, those are the things we want to start removing first, and we work our way toward it. Okay. So I am going to subtract 37 from each side. So that leaves me with R over 5, because 37 minus 37 just goes away. It's equal to 31. All right. Now we still got to get rid of this 5 here. They're dividing. So we simply have to multiply. If we do that, our 5 goes away, but I got to multiply this side times 5 as well. That leaves me with R by itself. 31 times 5 is 155. Okay. And the way that we double check that, because the cool thing with equations like this, they're really easy to double check because now R is no longer unknown. R has a value. So I go back to my original equation, R over 5 plus 37 is equal to 68. And then I take that 155, plug it in, and see if I can turn a true statement into it. So 155 divided by 5 is 31, plus 37 is equal to 68. 68 is indeed equal to 68. We have a true statement. We know our answer is right. Okay. We're at chat. Okay, your fault. Do I need to slow down a little bit before you, Michaela? Because I start to feel the pressure as I watch the minutes tick away, and so I just get faster and faster and faster. Got to get through this. Got to get through this. But okay.
I'm following
And-
Mr. Diamond. It's just my brain is not comprehending like as fast as you're going. So
I'm sorry. Well, good
It's
thing is we
okay.
are recording now, so you can rewatch this.
yes. So thank you.
Also, everybody knows I will stay late. The class is officially from 6 to 7, but if somebody wants to stick around and kick around some questions, I will help out as long as we need to. Let me pull up another one. Like I said, 3 screens, and right, here's going to be another one. I have C plus 5 is equal to 14 minus 2C. All right. Now, at this point, so here so I can see faces. At this point, we've got C's on each side of the equal sign. So what I want to do is at some time during this process, I want to get all the C's gathered up together. We got to have them all together. And I can do this. I'm going to do this 2 different ways. So you'll see that it works out. Now, the easiest way is I want to move the C's over to the other side of the equation. So I add 2C to each side. So negative 2C plus 2C, that goes away. That just becomes 0. Now, if I have 1C plus 2 C's, well, that gives me 3 C's. Okay. Now, then I start going farther away, the number farthest away on that side of the equation where my C is at. Okay, I'm gonna start removing those out of the way. So I'll subtract 5 from each side. So that goes away. That leaves me with 3C is equal to 9. They're multiplying, so I just need to divide by 3. Okay, that just leaves me with 1C. So C is going to be equal to 3. And that's our answer. And I can put it back up here. 3 plus 5 is equal to 14 minus 2 times 3. All right, 3 plus 5 is 8. 2 times 3 is 6. So 14 minus 6 is 8. So it checks out. Our answer is 3. Okay. Now I'm going to go the other way here. I'm going to say, well, I'm going to move all my C's over to the other side, just because we can. I can subtract the C from here. That goes away. That leaves me with 5 on this side. Because we're going to realize here in a minute that we don't care which side is which. Some of them are easier. The first time I did it here, it's a little easier than the way we're going to do it, but it's still all going to work out the same way. And when it comes to negative numbers, I'm not sure if anybody has any problems with them. I think about them like a bank account. All right. If for some reason I'm overdrawn and I have negative $2 in the bank and I spend another dollar, okay, I have negative $3 in the bank, right? Does that make sense to everyone? Okay. And then I can subtract 14 from each side. Once again, I kind of think about it like a bank account. If I have $5 in the bank, but I write a check for $14, that leaves me with negative $9 in the bank, which leaves me with negative 3C. Okay. Divide both sides by negative 3. And the cool part here is anything divided by itself is 1, right? Doesn't matter if it's positive, negative number, doesn't matter what it is. So that just becomes 1C. And if I take negative 9 divided by negative 3, and we haven't really covered this, and if anybody has any questions on kind of how positive and negative numbers work, I'll be glad to answer that. But a negative 9 divided by negative 3 is a positive 3. So once again, we get C is equal to 3. Just like we did over here. So it works out for us. Any questions? You like the first way, Michaela? Yeah, the first way is easier. And but I just use that as an example of sometimes it just doesn't matter. You know, so sometimes it is easier the other way, but hey, we can do it. We can do it that way as well. Okay, so look through here, try to find a story problem. Nobody likes word problems. I've had a couple of students I talked to today. They said we don't like the word problems, and I call them story problems because once you get done, they all end in happily ever after, right? It's a nice story. It's like Cinderella.
They're still no fun.
Sleeping Beauty, something.
At all, Vanessa. I agree. They're not fun at all.
They're not.
That's so.
Everything I sent Mr. Diamond, Vanessa, it was words, like reading and trying to figure out where it plugged out at. And I was just stuck every single time and I would get upset, but he helped me.
And like I said, feel free to reach out. You know, that is why I'm here. That is why Bob wanted me back. Because nobody else wants to teach business math, and he knows I don't mind, and I'll take the time to help. And I think Marcy scored a goal. Oh, there she is. I'll go back to writing on the board now. We have a problem, and the problem states an online store sells 2 types of speaker docks for smartphones. The higher price speaker dock sells for $190. What I do is I start writing down information.
You're cutting out.
I'm sorry, can you hear me now?
Can now, yeah.
Okay. I think I'm having a problem. This is a new headset too. The higher price speaker dock sells for $190. So I just start writing down information as we go. The lower price speaker dock sells for $80. Okay. Last week, the store sold 4 times as many lower price speaker docks as higher price speaker docks. Okay.
I'm
So,
excited you did this question. I'm working on this one right now.
okay. So we sold 4 times as many, and we'll call these lower price higher price as higher priced. Okay. The combined sales totaled $3,570. So how many lower price speakers did they sell? Okay. So we sold we're going to say, and trying to set this up and trying to think about the best way to do it without confusing anybody, is I'm going to say we sold X amount of the higher price ones. Okay. Plus the lower price one. So we're going to call this X. And we're going to call this 4X because that's what they tell us, right? We sell 4 times as many at lower price as the higher price. So I'm going to say X plus 4X is equal to 3570. And I feel like I'm already messing this up, so hopefully I'm not. I'm going to gather my X's up. If I have 1X plus 4X's, that gives me 5X's. Divide this by 5, get it by itself. Divide that by 5 to get it by itself. So 3750 divided by 5, 7, 35, 25, 75. That is absolutely an incorrect answer. What did I do wrong? What did I do wrong? What did I do wrong?
Like where you know where you have the X,
Right.
they put when I was working it out, because I was watching him work it out on the watch part, he put the like 190 with the X.
190 plus
X,
4
yeah.
times
He put
80.
190X plus 4X plus 80. Yeah.
Yeah.
Equals that.
Equals 3750. That's where I went wonky. All right. So let's kind of do some math here. That's 190X plus 320X.
No, there's no, he didn't put an X there.
He didn't put an X here?
That's why I'm getting confused at, because he didn't have an X on his stuff, and then it doesn't make sense when you get down there.
I remember this last time I taught the class last month, and I think I struggled with this one again as well.
I think there's supposed to be an X there, because it doesn't add up when I get to the bottom, because it doesn't, I don't know.
Doesn't seem right.
Yeah.
Okay, let's
I
look
remember
here.
that one from the last time that we did it. If you use how they explain how to do the problem in the book, then it's easy to figure it out. I remember that one.
Is it? Let me pull up my.
Yeah, this is
Spreadsheet
where the
here.
guy showed you how to do it on the questions. But that's how I got figured that part out, the top part out, because I was lost and confused on it.
I figured out more by using the directions in the book on how to do the problems than what they do in the videos.
Let me start this one over because I am struggling here and I shouldn't be. And I just taught this, like I said, a month ago. And I think when I was helping the other, because I didn't have very many students in that last class. So I think I struggled with this. It took me a minute to get my mind right on it. Look at it again. 2 types of speakers for smartphones. A higher price speaker is 190. Lower price is 80. So 190. Or 90. What did I do wrong? Don't you just love it when the teacher gets stumped? And I've done
That's
it
what I was
before.
just saying to my
it makes
husband.
me feel like I'm not so, my brain doesn't feel like it's going to explode. It's like, this one's like really hard because there's only 3 numbers.
Yeah, exactly. So still say $190 times how many they sold, right?
Yeah,
plus 80 All right, I'm gonna do some calculating over here on my spreadsheet so I can make sure I'm not
well, I
just
clicked
thinking
on
of
the
something wrong.
master it
Right.
on the thing, and it brought up, it says low price speakers equals 4 times the high price speakers, and then it dropped it down and, equals, and it said use N instead of the high price. It said low price equals 4N, and then you get your answer.
Okay.
That's all it said, it showed me.
And you said, did you get it? Did you get it right?
No, I ain't gotten this one right. I'm trying to figure it out.
Right.
So-
Okay. All right. Let me see here. Why am I freezing up here? Oh my gosh. And I just did this. I'm losing my mind.
Yeah, welcome to our world.
I know. I'm gonna blame it on not enough sleep.
Oh
I
no,
had,
that's an excuse.
yeah, it's like buttholes. Everybody's got one, and I'm gonna use mine today. That didn't sound right. I'm gonna have to cut that out of the recording at some point. I got an idea. Let me do some calculating here real quick. Off on the
Or
side.
watch the video like we have to.
No, I am not going that method. And then that's admitting defeat. And why would I do that?
Because that's how you learn. Right? Isn't that what you tell us?
Hey, I say a lot of things.
What about, how it's 80 equals 4 times 190. And then you drop it down, and then you'll do 80 over 80 and 80, and then you would divide 80 into 8. Well, my thing will be different, the top number.
Okay,
After you
say that
times
say that
190
again.
times 4. 190 times 4 equals 760 divided by 80.
All right.
Equals
So
950.
that is how many?
$9.50.
9.5. That doesn't help us either.
That
We're
isn't,
looking
that, no, that's why I was
Yeah.
only, that's why, hey, I way that it was on here, and that's the way I thought it would work. But
I'm
that's
trying
not
to
it
remember.
either.
I'm trying to remember how I taught it last time. I am sorry, guys. I feel like a big knucklehead at this point. So 190. Stop with the eraser. 190. It is the high price. The number of high price plus 80 times the number of low price. Okay. Is equal to 35.70. Right. Now the low price we sold 4 times the high price. So 100 high price. I'm just going to get the X out of the way. That's probably confusing me. Plus 80 times 4. My speaker seems to be messing up here. There we go. Can everyone hear me okay?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. My computer popped up some weird thing about my speaker. Times 4 times high price is equal to 35.70. Okay, so 190. And now I'm gonna change this to X. X. Why is it changing it? Plus 320 X should be equal to 35.70. All right. So 190 plus 320. Call it 200. Let's call it 510. Is this what we went through a while ago?
See, that's the way that he ended his on when he gets through on the showing it on the
Mhm.
video. That's what
All
his
right.
looks like.
All right, so if we solve this, I think I got it right now. I was just doing something weird wrong. Solve this, X is going to be equal to 7. Now we called X our higher price one, so we sold 7 at $190 of the high price one. That gives us $1,330 in sales. If our total sales were $3,570, subtract the $1,330, that means we sold $2,240 worth of the low price ones. And if they cost $80 a piece, that means we sold 28 low price speakers. That answer I like. That is the correct answer. I
You
don't know
what
why it
was
took me so
doing?
long to
Not
get there.
finishing I wasn't finishing the problem all the way.
Okay.
The second part of it, yeah.
Oh, bye, Michaela. I don't know if she already ducked or not. All right, so
Thank you. That
it's on the homework for chapter 5, Jeanette. I just saw your deal there. So that's, and I know it seems like it took a lot of setting up, but you kind of have to change, kind of have to think a little backwards and weird about it. Let's try another one, and maybe I won't look like a knucklehead. Not that I really. Okay, there's one for keyboards, which is going to be done the same way. All right, here's a good one. Erase. Hey, in my defense, I had my mother and grandchildren all around me all weekend, and I didn't get any sleep. And I will tell you, elderly widowed mothers can be high maintenance sometimes. So here's one. It says, you are an administrator of an annual essay contest scholarship fund. Okay. You have a total of $52,000 in scholarships. Okay. And it's going to be divided between the top 2 contestants. Okay. So the winner receives 3 times as much as the runner-up. And this should be on the homework for chapter 5, and this is number 11. All right, so, and this one shouldn't be too bad. If one of them gets 3 times and the other one gets 1 times, we're gonna get 4 times total. And the way I figure that is the winner's gonna get 3 times, and that's not a time signal. The loser, the second place person is gonna get 1 times, and they're gonna split that up between $52,000. I gathered these up. I divide this by 4. X should be equal to, what's that? 1, 3, $13,000. And that's what the runner-up's going to get. The winner should get 3 times that. So your 3 times winner is going to be 13,000 times 3, 0.9, $39,000. Okay. That one wasn't that bad, actually. Anybody have any questions on that one? That one got pretty easy. You good, Hannah and Donna and Vanessa? Oh, I see Vanessa's face, not just a picture.
Well, I was talking, so I thought it would be better if you could see my face when I was talking, so.
Yes.
Well, unlike you ladies, I have a face made for radio, so I should be a top 40 DJ somewhere if I had a cool voice. Let's see if we can find how much problem we got. Do everybody want to stick around for one more problem? Then you guys can ask questions.
One more, if you make it quick. After that, I got an important family phone call I got to make.
Okay, so let's use this one. An architect uses a 3/4 inch scale to represent 1 foot. 3/4 inch represents 1 foot. And I like these because I was, being an engineer, I kind of like this kind of stuff. If the east wall of a building is 24 feet long, how long in the inches will be the blueprint? Okay, so wall is 24 feet long. How long will it be in inches on the blueprint? Well, I am going to take 24, and I can always put it over 1 to turn into a fraction. Multiply it times 3/4. All right, I'm gonna do a little cross multiplying here, or a little cross canceling here. Turn that into a 1, that into a 6. 6 times 3 is 18 over 1. So the answer is going to be 18, and it should be 18 inches. But basically, all you're doing is you're going to multiply this times the distance. Okay. And you're going to get the answer. And the same thing if you converted that 3/4 of an inch to 0.75. All right. Times 24 feet, you're still going to get 18 as well. So it works either way between fractions or a decimal. And who is it that's bouncing? Is you? Okay.
I was bouncing my head. I was like,
No, I said who said they were going to have to leave?
oh, I thought you said,
Oh, that was me.
Okay. I just want to make sure I make sure I got you down on here. Yeah, you can go ahead. And if you got any questions, just hit the ask your instructor and I'll send out emails, whatever you need. And I don't mind because once I do it for one person, I just copy and paste it to the next person who asks the same question. So it helps me out.
Alrighty. Thank you, guys.
You're welcome. All right. Bye, Vanessa. Bye, Donna. Bye, Hannah, Kristen, Jeanette, TJ. Anybody needs to stick around, let me know.
The discussion.
Ooh, discussions. Did you want to talk about discussion, Jeanette?
Yeah, the text has got me stumped.
All right. Let me get there. Log into my Canvas here. Let's logging in. Race. Discussions, week 2. Okay. Okay, so the only 2 things are certain in life are death and taxes. Good old Ben Franklin. He also said, those who would trade security for freedom deserve neither. As responsible citizens, not only is it our duty to pay taxes, it is important to understand as much as possible how tax system works and how our taxes are calculated. Also, employers are required to pay certain taxes on behalf of their employees, so it's important to understand the rules that apply to. Watch this video. Okay, so how long is that video? 4 minutes? Oh, I am going to, yeah, make sure. Stop sharing this screen. And I will go ahead and share this other screen. Maybe. Share screen. Share screen. There we go. And we're going to share this. Yep. And let's look at this. Okay, so for Jeanette here, first question, and I think you sent me over a on the chat said, my question number 3 is, well, question is number 3, with employers not paying into Social Security, Medicare, is that legal? Only if you're contract labor. If you're contract labor, then you have to pick that up yourself. Okay. So if you're a contract employee, or and let's even say if you're self-employed, because that's kind of, I think, a better example. If you're self-employed, you're on the hook for all 12.4% on your Social Security, and Medicare taxes are, make sure I got my tax rates correct, 1.5% from your employer and 1.45% for you for 2.9%. So let's say you're self-employed, you don't have an employer to pay the other half, you're on the hook for all 12.4% of Social Security and 2.9% for Medicare. Did that answer your question at all?
Kind of. I'm just curious as to where we get the answer. I mean, number 3 is basically what would happen to the employee if the employer didn't pay it.
Yeah, you're on the hook for it.
Yeah, okay. And there is that video which doesn't do anything about, or doesn't really say anything about that. It just is kind of personal taxes. And then the there's like a little a link to the employers, how to calculate taxes.
Payroll tax, yeah.
Yeah. I guess I'm just kind of confused as like how I would find my answer. I mean, I guess you just told me.
Okay, well, yeah. The first one is, what is your greatest takeaway from watching the video? In other words, did you learn anything you didn't know before? That's on you. I have no idea what you knew before.
Right.
Okay, so different levels of income are taxed at different amounts. In your opinion, why do we do this? The reason we do this is that's called a progressive income tax. And the progressive income tax means the more money you make, the more you pay over a certain amount. Now,
yeah, I get that part. That's
yeah,
the system.
And we're talking about effective tax rates as opposed to your actual tax rates. Let me pull something up here real quick and I'll show it to you. Tax income tax rates. Okay, so now this is going to be on your adjusted gross income too. So once you take all your deductions out, whether it be standardized or whether you're in a position where you really need like your mortgage interest payments, those will reduce your adjusted gross income as well. So let me move this over, see if you can look at this right here. If you make up to $10,275, okay, you pay 10%. All right. Now between 10,276 and 4147, and then I'm just going with single. I'm not assuming marriage or anything. I'm just, for argument's sake. This bit here, okay, you pay 12% of what this is. So what's that? 31,500 or $490 something dollars, whatever it is. You would pay 12% of that. Okay. Then if you, and depending on where you go at, I mean, if you make over 89,075, then you're going to pay 22% of that. All right. So it just does it in levels, 10% of this, 12% in between here, 22% here, and 24% there. And I believe for people who make big money, like I'm sure you do, I'm sure this affects you, right? Since you make over $523,000 a year, okay, you're going to have this. Now, there's a difference between your income tax rate and your effective rate. Okay, your effective rate's always going to be lower than what you're actually paying.
Right.
Okay. Does that make any sense, or did I just make it worse?
No, you made it. No, you made sense.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely. I understand that part. of course, we
And
just did
then,
our taxes, so. But,
yeah, exactly. And as a small business owner, which I've been before, it
Uh-huh.
hasn't, when I left my company, sold out in 2020.
Mhm.
Taxes are, in my opinion, are a cost of doing business. Okay. So when
Right.
when I would do bids or I would give people pricing, taxes would be added into that, because I know that if I'm paying someone $15 an hour, that I'm on the hook for 6.2% plus 1.45%. So what's that? 7.65%. So I've
Right.
got to make sure I can cover that. All right.
Mhm.
And as you raise taxes, if you raise a social security cap, because social security first started out, it was 1% of your income.
Mhm.
And then they promised us it would never go any larger than that. Well,
Yeah.
they kind of fibbed.
Right,
So as a small business owner, it is a cost of doing business.
right.
Now, the pros, for whatever reason is, for the employee, you're picking up half that. As a self-employed person, I had to pay all, I had to pay all that. Plus I had to pay half all my employees.
Right.
It becomes a big tax bill. It becomes a real thing. And so one of the reasons for that is we used a third party payroll service
Mhm.
that handled all that for us. So once I put in number of hours, how much they were being paid, which that was already kind of done, I would just go in and fill out the amounts on the website. It would tell me, all right, these are checks for, this is how much we're holding out of income tax for the employee. This is how much you're on the hook for. This is how much we're holding out for them. And then it would give me a number, and I would just transfer money into that account. And then they
Mhm.
would send that money out to all the affected agencies, including,
Okay.
the employee, their paycheck. So I'm not sure if any of that helps you or not.
It does. Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. Just, the question, how would it impact the employee? So that's basically, are you talking about like FICA when it comes to,
Right.
um,
Because FICA
this-
is actually, when they say FICA,
yeah, yeah.
uh,
You have to match, that's the employer matching the employees.
yeah, it's the Federal Insurance Contributions Act, and uh, FICA is, I believe, Social Security and Medicare all lumped into one.
Okay.
Okay, so you don't just see it broken down in Social Security or Medicare. They call it FICA and they lump it all together. Part of the
Right.
deal here too is, and the reason they have employers do it,
Mhm.
okay, is they want to make sure, as a government agency, it's easier for them to make the employer, number one, legally responsible for paying those taxes. Okay.
Yeah.
And number two, it makes you the tax collector. And number three, then the employee doesn't actually see that money coming out of their pocket. You would
Mm.
probably, if the employer did not have to take that money out of your
Mhm.
paycheck, and at the end of every quarter, you had to personally write a check to the IRS for income tax and your FICA,
Mhm.
all right, there would probably be a huge revolt. There would probably be people with pitchforks in Washington going, hey, what the heck are you guys doing here?
Right.
Right. But if they take it out before you even see your money, people have a little more acceptance of it.
Okay. Right. Okay. Yeah, that sounds good. And then, let's see. Okay. Yeah, that answers both those questions. And then let's see. What is the best way to get a hold of you? Because emailed you last week and I never got a response. I double
You emailed me
checked it.
last week?
I
Oh,
did on Google. It was Gmail.
let me look here and see why you didn't hear. But I don't remember you emailing me. Let me look at my emails. Just a second
Mm.
here. Comes up. Let me see. Come on now. box. What's your email? What email did you send it from? Was it from Jeanette
Um,
Weaver 23 at Gmail?
Yes, yes, yes.
What question did you send me?
You know what? I should have probably asked on the exercise, but it was just chapter 2. When I was reading the chapter.
Reducing by the greatest common denominator? Chapter
Yeah, I
2,
think-
reduce.
Oh my
Okay,
gosh.
that is the best way to get a hold of me. Somehow I just overlooked your email and I'm sorry.
You're fine, you're fine.
Yeah,
I
that's on me.
I don't, do you have it?
I do have it. I do have it.
Okay,
But the best way to do it is
Uh-huh.
to go through Cengage because they give me a lot of information on the back end.
uh-huh,
When you ask for help, it shows me what the answer should be, and it shows me what answer you put down. It shows me the problem. It kind of just takes me to everything right there. And then
Well,
you don't
this
have to
was-
worry about taking a snapshot or anything else.
right. This was actually in the book.
Oh, is in the
So it
book.
wasn't, yeah, it wasn't it
Gotcha.
was just,
Okay.
I was doing like the samples here and sorry about my son.
Well, let me show you a little trick with this.
Okay.
I'm gonna show you. I'm not really a cheat, but that was once your question was on fractions 175 over 232, and you want to reduce it. And then they give you an answer here that shows you how to reduce it to lowest terms.
Uh-huh.
Uh,
I just didn't know how they got to that answer.
Okay.
I was so confused.
let me share this screen again with you.
Okay.
Maybe. Come on. Okay, so share screen. Let's do a wipe. Nope, I don't want to do that. Cancel that. Let me share this. Okay, so the one you were asked about 175 over 232.
Mhm.
They want to reduce that. What the easiest way to do this is
Mhm.
go to Google
Mhm.
and just type in factors of 175, and they will tell you that 175 is broken down into the factors are 1, 5, 7, 25, 35, and 175. And those are the numbers that will divide into that evenly. Okay. And then I go back to it and I say, what are the factors of 232? And I get 1, 2, 4, 8, 29, 58, 8, 29, 58, 116, 232. And what I do is I find the largest number that will go into them evenly.
Mm.
Okay. 1 doesn't really count. That doesn't help us. 5 doesn't work. 7 doesn't work. 25 doesn't work. 35 doesn't work. 175 doesn't work. So that's reduced as low as it can go.
Right.
Okay. There was one I did with someone the other day. Oh, it's from last week's homework problems. And I believe it was second here, and I can recreate it. The answer was 2/5. It was, I believe it was on your homework problem. It was like 34 over 85.
Mm-hmm.
And I did the same thing. Is I Googled what are the factors of 34,
Mm-hmm.
and they are 1, 2, 17, and 34. And what are the
Okay.
factors of 85? 1, 5, 17, and 85. These are the only numbers that you can divide into those numbers evenly. 1 doesn't help us, 2 doesn't count, 5 doesn't count, 3, 4, 85. They both have 17 in common.
Mhm.
So if I take 34 over 85, divide top number by 17, divide by bottom number by 17, that gives me 2/5. Okay.
Okay.
2/5 is the same value as 34 over 85.
Right.
They're the same number, just in different forms. Does that help at all, or did I go out of the into the thing again?
No, I understand how to do that. I guess I didn't understand how they did it on their answer.
Let me look at the
Um,
let me look at that again, because let me see. 1 over 32, 1 over 32 goes to 157. Okay, see, and they do it in
yeah,
steps, and okay, so you have 57 left over, then you take 57 divided by 175, it goes in 3. I'm not sure why they do it like that. That just seems like an oddball way to do it.
it was really, and I mean, I guess I stood on that answer that question just a little longer than I was supposed to, but
Yeah,
I
yeah. The
just
way I
couldn't
showed you here to do it is just
understand
find
it.
just find the
So
largest
there
common
was,
factors.
so that is the lowest one,
Yeah,
175 over 232. Okay.
yeah. Because no matter what you do, you're never going to get down to 0 on that. And that's what they're trying to show you, to have no remainder. But
Mhm.
like I said, given the way technology works today, you can just go figure out what are the common factors and take the
Mhm.
highest one, and boom, you'll reduce it. And
Okay.
sometimes, let's say I like to have 20 over 30, I want to reduce it.
Mhm.
We know that's 2/3, right?
Right.
Just by looking at it. But see, if
Mhm.
I don't know, I could, given their even numbers, I could divide them by 2, right?
Mhm.
And that would give me 10 over 15.
Mhm.
Well, and then I could divide that by 5. So I take multiple steps, 2/3.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So yeah, don't get caught up in their little complicated weird way here. I don't I think I tried to teach that in junior high one year, and it just never worked out. It was more confusing than it should be.
Right.
And
Yeah.
I don't know why they
Okay.
still insist on teaching that kind of stuff.
It was a doozer. Okay, so the best way to contact you would definitely be through the Gmail or through the email.
Yeah, I don't know how I missed it. And if I don't get back with you within usually that day or early the
Okay.
next morning, and then hit me back. Also, did I send you guys am I sharing here? Let me stop this share. Make sure. And let's go to this, and I will go back to share my screen. There we go. If you go to instructor information here, you'll see there's a text number here as well.
Okay.
So you can also do that. But like I said, if you have questions on the assignment, Cengage is usually the best way, because what I do is when I get to my office every morning, the
Mhm.
first thing I do after I get my coffee and make sure my computer is rebooted and everything's running correctly is I go in and I check any homework questions and
Okay.
emails. I don't know
Okay.
how I missed yours. And I said, apologies again. And then I said, if you don't hear from me for some reason, or you want to get a
Mhm.
hold of me immediately, throw me a text, and that should get my attention a little quicker.
Okay.
And there's
Yeah, no
also
worries.
Facebook. If you want to, that's my CCC Facebook account, and you can message me on that. Although that's probably the last way to get a hold of me.
Right. It wasn't that big of a deal, I guess. I just was kind of stumped on that one.
Okay,
And then I guess my last question before I forget, because I have so
sure.
many questions. um what was it? Oh, as far as the grading goes, it's on the Cengage, I guess the original one, I guess. Um,
Right.
the grades are not plugged in there yet.
Oh,
or
you're
will
talking
they
about,
be-
they're not on Canvas. They're
Right,
in,
Canvas, yeah, sorry,
right.
Canvas.
the way Bob, and I'm trying to fix this, but
Uh-huh.
I didn't want to try to change things the first time I taught this class in WebAssign, because the way they do it, everything's on MindTap except for the math stuff, and they put on WebAssign, and that's Cengage's deal.
Okay.
The way Bob has it set up is Canvas and WebAssign are not connected, so I have to go in and manually just pull them from WebAssign and put them into Canvas.
Okay.
But you can check your grades on everything but the discussions
Mhm.
on Cengage, because whenever you turn it in, it automatically grades it and it's right there for you.
Right, okay. And also the participation on the Cengage is, or sorry, on the Canvas is just showing up as 0, just saying that I missed last week, which I know I didn't.
Right. Oh, no, that's fine. I
Okay.
don't, in fact, I was gonna, I had to, I was really busy today, but
Okay.
my plan is I'm gonna go in every Monday and update the last week's stuff, because the cutoff's on Sunday, so I can update attendance, which and then I can update discussions, and then I can throw the grades from Cengage onto there. And so anything that wasn't done will have a 0 in it. I didn't get to it today because I had so many email questions today that I spent all day working on that, but I will work on that first thing in the morning. And so before lunchtime, you'll see all the grades updated on Canvas from last week.
Okay, yeah, no worries. I'm kind of try to be on top of everything. I just want to make sure.
Oh, no
I'm not
worries, no
missing
worries. And
anything.
if you feel like I'm slacking, crack the whip.
I'll email you, text you, and send you a message on Facebook.
Hey, that's when that's how we used to do it, or that's how we still supposed to do it back in the day, is if a student was falling behind or having issues, and they, we would do 3 points of contact, and we usually email, text, and Facebook Messenger. That's how I would do it. And you would get a message from me on all 3, knowing that, hey, you haven't turned something in, or your grade's really low and you need to work on something, or you haven't showed up to any of the classes.
Right. I'll be the opposite. I'm the
understood.
opposite kind of person. All right.
But-
Well, thank you for all your answers today. I had a lot of questions, and I guess I just got them all
If you had-
answered. So thank you.
But did you have, are they all answered? Because if
They're
they're
all
not,
answered. I think I got them all. I even wrote down a little thing to remind me what to say, what to ask.
okay. Well, if you have any more, like I said, just hit me with an email, and I will not bypass you again.
Okay. Sounds good.
All right. Well, I'll talk to you soon.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
Thank you.